Happy Saturday. What's up, tribe? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Sorry about that. I do have the chat set. I think the chat is set on members only. But you guys can always chat freely on the sister channel, ReallyBTV reviews. I'll put the link in the chat. I meant to do that, but I hadn't yet. So you guys come on in. We're gonna be discussing this new show. I told you guys I watched the first episode and I'll let you know what it is that we gonna do about it. Okay. Now, let's get into it. All right, can you guys see me okay? So let me put the link in. So you guys can check. Is it on members only on the main channel? Cajun, where are you coming in from? Because you're the only one that's not lit up in green. Are you on the sister channel or do I have it set? Do I have it set correctly? All right, so let's get into this show. Let me know in the chat. I'm gonna keep it moving on. So okay. Okay, so it's the sister channel. Okay, thank you. All right, well, let me put the sister channel in the chat so we can get this party started. So let me say this. As far as first episodes go, I think it was a really, really good first episode, right? For those that don't know, we're talking about Family Empire Houston, which is on OWN. It is a Carlos King produced show. So I told you guys I'd watch the first episode and I'll let you know how I felt about it. So how I feel about it is this. I think the show has really great potential. I think it was a really strong first episode. I saw some really good elements for a reality TV show, right? I saw some really great elements. And as I go through the review, I'll talk about it. Overall, the decision that I made was we're going to review the show with Shade in the City. So for those of you that were here for our Never Ever Meets panel, you guys know Shade in the City. So it'll be on both channels, but I'll review it with them starting with episode 3. Because episode 2, I'm going to still be on vacation. And so we'll start with episode 3. Okay. So that is what I have to say. Overall, it was a really good. I mean, y'all know I give Carlos King hell when I feel like it. But honestly, overall, it was a really, really good first episode. So see, chat freely on the sister channel. And here is the link. Now let's get through the episode. Let's talk about this episode. So the show centers around 4 generations of real estate moguls down in Houston, Texas, the Braden family. And let me say this. What I really love about this is I love what this family has done. I love what this family has done as far as you have grandma and grandpa who basically bought up real estate their entire life. They built an empire. They are sitting on land all throughout Houston, or at least at one point in time they did. Now, it seems like the show centers around the second generation, which they call themselves G1 and G2. So generation 1, generation 2. It centers around the G2 generation. There is a huge plot. Now, here's where the show goes left with me. I'm going to be honest with y'all. The premise of the show, which is about this huge plot of land that the G2 generation wants to buy from grandma and develop, seems to be at the nucleus of the show. So here's where it goes left for me. It goes left for me because this seems like a no-brainer, right? If this is a family of real estate moguls that has built off of, we're 4 generations in, this seems like a no-brainer for me. Now, this is only episode 1, and I'm sure that there's more there that we haven't quite gotten into that might make it make sense as we go further through the season. But from a season 1 perspective, I was really sitting here like, what we arguing about? So for those that didn't watch the episode, let's talk about it. So we meet the 3 main sisters. We have the Generation 2 main sisters. It's giving Ferris Street. It's definitely giving Ferris Street, but it's giving Ferris Street without the roadblock. We'll get there. So let me get to my notes because y'all know these names. Y'all know them, especially grandma's name. Her name is Oscarine or something like that, child. Okay. So we have the 3 sisters on Generation 2 level, right? We have Nicole, we have Jermisha, and we have Lakeisha, I think I wrote the third one down wrong. I think I wrote the third one down wrong. Now, Nicole is the firecracker, right? Now, I'm going to tell you now, we're going to get to Nicole in a minute, but Nicole is the firecracker. Jermisha, and I really feel like it's not Lucky. Hold on, give me a second, because I want to get their names right, at least at the very beginning, child. Let me get their names right. But we have, oh, shoot, what did I just do? Hold on, y'all. What up, Don? Hey, boo. How'd you feel about it? Did you watch it? How'd you feel about it? Okay, I'm about to give it to y'all now. I know it was Jermisha, Lakeisha, and the third one is the one that I'm thrown off about. This Nicole, because I think Nikki is the half-sister. We're going to get to her in a minute. But I want to make sure I get the 3 main ones right. And I apologize. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. And y'all know I will screw a name up. So I want to get the name right, child. Jermisha, Nicole, Jaquita. I knew I was wrong. Jaquita. Let me write it down, child. Let me write it down. Jaquita. And Nicole is Lakeisha is the half-sister. Now, like I said, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Because what I saw, okay, so where I was confused was the timeline on them being half-sisters, right? I was a little confused about the timeline. But then I saw in the previews for the rest of you know how they show the previews for the rest of the season? It seems as though Frank, which is their daddy, Frank was a Rolling Stone because Lakeisha mama was pregnant at the same time as one of the other ones. I don't know which one, but one of the 3. They was pregnant at the same time. So Papa stepped out of his marriage, which unfortunately, it sounds like the good part is it sounds like she was always accepted as part of the family. Like, I'm going to give Frank's wife credit that they know who their half-sister is. She was around. I don't think she was there every day, all day, but looks like, Frank and his wife dealt with whatever they had to deal with. And Lakeisha, they know Lakeisha. She has been acknowledged as a member of the family. The problem, though, is because she grew up in a different house, had a different mama, probably didn't do all the same things that the other sisters did. She feels somewhat as an outsider. And her and Nicole, for whatever reason, do not have a good relationship at all. She just clams up when Nicole is around. Like, you can physically see her clam up when Nicole comes around, right? So I'm sure as the season goes on, we'll dig deeper into what happened between her and Nicole. Now, Nicole and Jaquita, they decided that they wanted to do real estate, but they didn't want to work for nobody else. So grandma paid for them to get their real estate license. And within 5 years, they now have their own brokerage firm that has over 100 realtors under their brokerage firm. Now, for those of us who reviewed Selling Miami, was it Selling Miami, y'all? No, it wasn't Selling Miami. It was Selling Tampa. We understand that a brokerage firm is like a higher tier of real estate. You know, you get your real estate license, and then you get your broker's license, and then you can have your own like brokerage firm, which is like a higher tier. So that means that after they got their real estate license, they kept going and kept going. Nicole said in her first year, she was selling, you know, homes averaging $250,000. She said, but she now said, but she said, but in that first year, she sold 51 homes. So cha-ching, 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 right? She now sells luxury homes. She sells $1 million homes now. So the third sister, see these names, Jermisha, she has her degree, and she was a pharmacist. But she said she was making more money selling homes part-time than she was at her full-time job as a pharmacist. So she quit her job, and now she's a full-time realtor. And she damn, I lost my train of thought. She does it full-time, and I think she's the cousin. They call themselves sister cousins, right? Now, Jaquita and Jermisha's husbands both work for the firm. Nicole's husband does not. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all this about Nicole's husband. Don, you could tell me how you feel about this in the chat. See, this is where I started doing this and giving Carlos the here we go. Because Nicole and her husband's situation is very much giving me Melody and Martell Holt. It's very much giving me, what was that couple on Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage DC? It's like you always have to have this one couple. Nicole, now we found out that Larry works a job. Now they never said specifically what he does, but Larry works at night. She said when they first got married, his job, he had to schedule 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So they would literally go 2 weeks without seeing each other. And it sounds like Larry stepped out because we saw a conversation, which was from a year ago, which lets me know that they shot the pilot for this show a year ago. But it sounds like they filmed this in January, because they said something in the show let me feel like they were filming this in January. So a year ago, we have a scene with Nicole and her husband, and her saying, well, you know, I just don't think it's okay for us to walk around this house not speaking to each other. But, you know, you've done some things in the past, and you just betrayed my trust. Well, that's cold for he cheated. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he betray your trust and do? He was out too late with the boys. He bought a car without your knowledge. Like, what he do? Come on now. That is code word for he cheated. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, here we go again. Here we go again. Carlos and this toxic situation. So we're going to put that to the side for now, because although I feel like we're going to get into it, I don't feel like it's going to be, at least not right now, I don't feel like it's going to be the crux of the situation. Now, what I will say is this. Just like Melody Holt, I see Nicole becoming the breakout star of this show. So it may, if this show gets a season 2, it may become a major storyline, because I absolutely see Nicole becoming the breakout star of this show. Now, I might feel differently at the end, but that's how I feel right now. So, yeah, somebody said their makeup and their wardrobe was on point. They absolutely showed up ready. Let's be clear. All of them showed up ready. Hair was on point. Wardrobes was on point. Makeup was on point. Baby, they showed up ready. Like, you know how sometimes you get a first season and they be looking rough, and then after that, they get it together. Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. They were ready. They showed up ready. Okay. Now we find out that grandma and grandpa just recently passed away a year prior. That's how I know what it was, because they were celebrating the January birthdays. And so they gave, they had a birthday cake, you know, a special cake there for daddy. You know, for granddaddy, you know, to just commemorate the 1 year, his birthday. So that's how I knew it was January, because they said we're celebrating the January birthdays. Right. That's the other thing. Sweet Essence. Exactly. And I think Don said the same thing. You can tell that they do have some change, right? They're not faking for the funk. They're not putting on for the show. Like, this is how they live. This is their lifestyle. You can definitely tell that there were scenes that were set up to film, but I don't feel like they was borrowing outfits, on consignment to film. I feel like this is really who they are. This is their day to day, because it just looked natural. It didn't look like, oh, this is the first time I had a good weave in my hair. This is the first time I had professional makeup done. It just didn't look like that. So they definitely showed up ready. They definitely showed up ready. So we have a family dinner where everybody is there. And like I said, that's when we meet a little bit of everybody. Well, you know what, Cajun? Let me say this. Cajun said these people have something to lose. But you know what? They're the perfect they're the perfect position for a reality show, because yes, they have something to lose. However, they run their own business. So there's limits to everything. Let's be clear. There are limits to everything. But when you run your own, you can push the envelope a little bit more. Like if you are in the market and you've established yourself and you've established a great reputation in the Houston community, people still gonna ring your line. Now, there's limits to everything. Now, you can't go too far. You can't go too far overboard. But they'll still get a call. Hey, DM Rocks, thank you for the super chat. Let me see what you said. Hey, I love this show. I hope Carlos doesn't mess it up like the other shows. Well, thank you for the super chat, but I hate to be the one to tell you, I don't have that much faith in Carlos. I think that there's a way for this show to be successful, because it does look like they have natural family drama, as long as, again, they don't push it too far. But I just don't trust Carlos not to do it. That's just how I feel. So at the family gathering, we find out Chris. Now, Chris is Jamisha's husband, I believe. Please let me get these people right. Chris is the photographer. So, Chris is on staff. He's the photographer that takes the pictures, I guess, for all of their properties and all of that stuff. And it looks like he has his own photography company. I saw that like logo and stuff later on when they did the group picture for the brokerage. But yeah, Aunt Cheryl looked like she cooks down, honey. Yes, Don. Yes, she does. Aunt Cheryl said, "Oh, I got a little bit of hog maws, little oxtails, a little bit of pork, and little pork rib. I got a little like." She just kept going order about all this food she had. Talking about it was just a little bit. Now, Chris and Nicole seemed like they had that love-hate relationship. Nicole said, "We fight a lot, but we also work together the most." Now, Chris said that Nicole put him out the office. It sounds like Chris was only telling part of the story. Nicole said Chris liked to play with the people. That, they get in the office and he gets to clowning around with them and they got work to do. And so she probably got mad. It sounds like Chris was doing something and got on her nerves one day and she told him to leave. I don't think she meant leave and don't come back. But Chris ain't been back. So Nicole is like, when you coming back in the office? And he was like, I'm not. And she was like, but I need you to. And he was like, but I'm not. He was like, you put me out. Now, Jamisha was like, listen, I try to stay out of this because I know they want me to get involved, but baby, I ain't got time. I ain't trying to get in the middle of it because, that's my business partner and my family, and this is my husband. So I really ain't trying to get in the middle of it. And she said, and my husband always wants me to take his side, even when he's wrong. So I feel like that means that there's some validity to what Nicole is saying, because Jamisha was like, even when he's wrong. So I'm like, and she doing the best thing. Listen, because when you start taking sides, you put yourself in a trick bag. So if they know that you're not going to get involved and that they're going to have to resolve it on their own, then that's what they're going to have to learn how to do, is resolve it on their own. She doing the right thing. She is doing the right thing. So, like I said, at the family dinner, that's when we meet Lakeisha, and, we get her little story, a little bit of her backstory. We get more of it later on in the episode, but we get a little bit of her backstory. We also meet the matriarch, Grandma. Now, what her name? Oscar Teen? It sounded like her her daddy name was Oscar, and her mama name was like Tina or something, and they just combined it. But baby, she got a doozy other name, but I'm going to just call her Grandma. Now, Grandma has had a stroke, and it affected her voice box, but she can talk, and they clearly know how to understand her. But they did give us subtitles. Now, Grandma is sitting on a big old piece of land. in a part of Houston that looks like, based on what they see, trend Oscarine. So maybe her mama name was Irene. Okay. So maybe that's what it sounded like, Kitty. Thank you, boo. Daddy name was Oscar and mama name was Irene, and they combined it. You know, that's what black folk do. We'll make up a name, child. But Oscarine, child. Thank you. I don't want to be disrespectful to the matriarch. Gen 2 is trying to convince grandma to sell them the land. Okay, let me rewind a little bit. When grandpa died, and it sounds like he died, either he died without a will or he died without that land being in the will. And maybe that land just wasn't in the will because he wanted grandma to just be responsible for it. Now the land is undeveloped, but she's been paying taxes on it every year. And it looks like they said the taxes come to about $34,000 a year. And she said she's tired of paying the taxes. Now, according to Gen 2, that's generation 2. I just want to make sure y'all following me. According to Gen 2, granddaddy wanted them to have the land so they could develop it. That's what Gen 2 is saying. According to grandma, she said she don't remember him saying that. She said, I don't remember him saying that. She wants to just sell the property and divide the profit amongst her children, Gen 1. She said, I got to make sure my kids are good. Now I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. Y'all want to hear my story time? This is my prediction. Now we could come back later, and if I'm wrong, I'll say, oops, I'm wrong. But here go my prediction about what's going on with this Braden family situation. Y'all ready for my prediction? Here's my prediction. Oscarine and her husband worked their asses off and bought up real estate all up and through rural Texas starting 50 years ago. They built up a nice portfolio. They sitting on some change. They got some money. But unfortunately, unfortunately, Oscarine and her husband did, I think his name, wasn't he Frank Sr.? Did what unfortunately a lot of first generation families with a little bit of change does. They spoiled their kids. They spoiled those kids. So Oscarine, I keep wanting to just say Oscar. Oscarine and Frank's kids ain't no good. And when I say ain't no good, I don't mean that they bums. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that they bums. I'm saying they were spoiled. Everything was probably given to them, and they did not work as hard to maintain the family legacy. I bet you they done borrowed money over the years from mama and daddy. I bet you that they probably started businesses that maybe didn't fail. Maybe they ain't finished college and get their degrees. Maybe they just work a regular 9 to 5 and they weren't trying to be entrepreneurs. I'm telling y'all what I think had happened. And Oscarine and Frank got used to taking care of their kids. Now, Gen 2 came along. And yes, they grew up comfortable, middle class, maybe upper middle class, right? But they have busted their ass and they done built something and they are continuing the legacy. Now, it does sound like Aunt Nikki does real estate. Aunt Nikki is part of Gen 1. Sound like she does do real estate, but it doesn't sound like she's a hustler like the rest, like this brokerage, like the Gen 2. That's what I feel like is happening. And so, because Oscarine said, I want to be able to pay off their houses. Why are you paying off the houses of your grown ass kids? Because I feel like at this point, if your kids are old enough for their kids to have kids, now here is what I said. To me, this is a no-brainer. We get a scene. Now, grandma ain't ready to make a decision. Aunt Nikki is the spokesperson for grandma, right? So we have a scene where all the ladies meet down at the land so we can see the land and so they can talk about it, right? We find out that they bought that land for $80,000 whenever they bought the land. Don't know how, I forgot how long ago they said it was. But they bought that land for $80,000, give or take. The land has now been appraised at over $700 and something thousand, almost $1 million. Undeveloped land. But they said that the trend that they see is that development is trending in the direction of where this land is. They said they could develop that land and they could probably make somewhere around $5 million after they've developed that land and maybe put houses on there and sold off the houses. See, this is what I mean when I say I don't understand how this is the nucleus of a story, because that's a no-brainer for me. Like, I don't understand. And again, I hope we get deeper into what's really going on as we go through the season, because if I remember this family, and I was a part of Gen 1 and Gen 2, who I know have proven themselves, they built a brokerage of over 100 agents in 5 years, says, hey, we can take this land, let us buy it from grandma at cost. So we're going to buy it from grandma, even if they double her profit. If she bought it for $80,000 and they buy it from her, hell, I'll round it up for $200,000, right? And then they say, listen, we're going to develop the land. And once we get done developing the land and we sell off the lots, whether we build houses or businesses or whatever, we are set to make $5 million. And then we'll divide up the $5 million based on percentages. Like, we'll get, I don't know, let's say the brokerage gets 40%, 50%, and we'll give y'all the other 50% to divide up. I don't know how many Gen 1 kids, because they gave us the family tree, but I didn't count. To me, that's a no-brainer, because everybody walks away with something. And everybody walks away with more than what they walk away with now. Because if grandma sells that land now for $700,000 and divides it among her kids, okay, they're going to walk away with maybe $200,000 and some change, because they got to pay taxes and all of that. They may walk away with that. But you mean to tell me if we wait about 3 years, maybe 4 years, give or take, all of the things that have to happen, you mean I could probably walk away with double that? That's a no-brainer to me. Am I tripping? Especially this is a family of real estate. Like, it should be a no. And I understand that grandma just might be tired. Grandma just might be tired and don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. But y'all come from a family of real estate. Y'all understand the value of land. Y'all understand what's going on here. Unless y'all are just deep in debt and desperate for the money, you mean to tell me if I wait a couple of years, I could double this? But neither here nor there. Aunt Nikki gets sold. Once they break down the lot and they show it to her and they have the conversation, Aunt Nikki was like, look, you've convinced me. However, you got to convince the rest of G1 and grandma. I'll tell her, what y'all said, and I'll tell her my opinion. But, I can't make her do nothing. And I certainly can't control my brothers and sisters. Now, for me personally, if granddaddy didn't put it in his will, then they can't hold grandma to what granddaddy verbally said if he ain't put it in his will. You feel what I'm saying? But see, that's how families start fighting. That's how family feuds start. Right, Ravine. G1 asking grandma for money is tied. I agree. Now, again, I'm going to hold off my opinion. Hold on. I'm going to hold off my opinion until I'm able to get more information. Right, Lady D. And even if it just makes more sense to me. I don't know, but neither here nor there. Okay. Especially since I feel like over the years, Gen 1 has probably gotten their inheritance 2 times over. Like, I'd be willing to bet that Gen 1 has gotten their inheritance. They have gotten a good piece of change. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. Okay. So we get to the family photo. I mean, not the family photo shoot. The brokerage is doing photos. They're updating their headshots, and they're doing a group photo for the brokerage and everything. And it looked really nice. Everybody wore black, and it looked really, really, really nice. It looked really, really nice. Now, Lakeisha is the assistant to Chris. Now remember, Keisha's the half sister, and she's the assistant to Chris, who's the photographer. Now I got some questions for Miss Keisha. She says she always feels like an outsider. You know, she always feels like, you know, she was never totally accepted by the girls, which I can understand. That was a hard situation for the girls to be in. Like, they literally see their daddy being their dad. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to find out when you're an adult that your daddy might have did something. Okay, so if it's Gen 1, it's 3 girls. Right. Thank you, Powerful. Thank you. But it's something totally different to be, as a child, have to understand why daddy has a kid that's my age that doesn't live with us by another woman. I'm sure that was hard for all of them. I'm sure that it was awkward for all of them. You know, I'm sure, right? So, I do think it's more there between Nicole and Lakeisha. Now, Lakeisha, I do have some questions. How did you become the assistant to the photographer for the brokerage? And what I mean by that is, I'm not alluding to anything nefarious going on. I'm alluding to, is that your career? Do you feel what I'm saying? Is that your career? That's even more of a no-brainer, y'all, that it's only 3, you know. From what they were saying, Nicole has the biggest issue. Right. And I think that Nicole has the biggest issue. And then she went out and married her daddy. Oops. Then she done went out and married her daddy. Oops. Which is how that stuff happens, child. So we saw Nicole sell a house. We saw her show a house. I'm sorry. And that house was beautiful now. That house was absolutely gorgeous. I definitely could see, you know, if I had a little bit of change, I could see me living somewhere like that, honey. That was a beautiful home. And that was cute. You know, that was cute to see her, you know, do her thing. She definitely did a good job, knowledgeable. There was a black, and I love that they showed a black surgeon that she was trying to sell this house to. Now, the surgeon, you know, she had a lot of requests, but then when she got that price, baby, it sounded like she was a little, ooh, because her budget started at $850,000 and now she up at 1.5 mil. Baby, that's a big difference. That's almost double what you started at, ma'am. That is a big difference. Girl. But when you want more, baby, you got to pay. So that was cute. Now, what we found out at the photo shoot was that Jamisha asked all the sisters to come over her house. She wanted to have a conversation with the sisters. And what we found out is that Jamisha can't hold her liquor. We found out that Nicole, Nicole doesn't like to be called bougie, but Nicole, girl, you a little bougie. They called her a diva. And she was like, don't call me a diva. So she doesn't like those types of labels. But, right, Tan, black jobs. So she doesn't like those kinds of labels. However, girl, you was being a little diva-ish, okay? Because they was like, you can grab you a beer. And she was like, baby, I'm not about to drink no beer, baby. Where's the Prosecco? And they was like, because they were eating crawfish. They were like, who the hell drinks Prosecco with crawfish? So, you know, you didn't want to be called a diva, but baby, you was being a little diva-ish. But I ain't even mad at you. Look, I ain't mad at you. There ain't no rules that say you got to drink beer just because you eating crawfish, baby. If you want Prosecco with your crawfish, then you have Prosecco with your crawfish. Now, before Nicole got there, they were talking to Keisha, and they were saying, listen, we really want to find a way for us to get closer as sisters. And at first, I ain't going to tell y'all no lies. At first, I was sitting here going, now we doing this just for the show. Because why all of a sudden now we so concerned about strengthening our relationship as sisters. But then they went further to explain, Keisha's mother has recently died. Like, granddaddy died. And then Keisha lost her mom recently. And so she sort of, you know, that's, you know, they want to get closer to her because they realize that she probably needs them and, you know, wants to build that family bond. So I said, okay, all right, that makes sense. And they said, but we got to really figure out what's going on with you and Nicole. And Keisha said, I just have a wall there. They were like, yeah, because when Nicole gets here, we don't want you to shut down. And she did. As soon as Nicole got there, baby, she stopped talking. And it seemed like everything she said, she was putting her foot in her mouth, right? So Jamisha and Jaquita, who was drinking, and they said Jamisha is the one, if you see her on her second beer, baby, walking the other direction. And they were like, well, ain't no thing, it ain't nothing wrong with, wanting to drink. She was like, I'm in my house. I don't have to drive nowhere. Why I can't drink nothing? Yeah, I like Nicole. I do. I like, because I feel like Nicole is unapologetically who she is, and I can respect that. I think there are going to probably be times when Nicole get on my nerves, but I like her. So far, I like her. Now, when I know more, I reserve the right to adjust my opinion once I learn more. But I can see that Nicole, like I said, in my opinion, Nicole is going to be the breakout star of the show. She's giving me very, very much Melody vibes. I mean, from the point of view of, I feel like she's going to maximize this opportunity. She's going to roll it into something. I fully anticipate by the end of this season, Nicole having a product outside of the brokerage, whether she is doing seminars like TED Talk type stuff to teach real estate to, Black women, I don't see her selling like beauty products or anything like that, but I definitely see her marketing something by the end of this season. I absolutely, out of everybody on this show, she's the person that I see will take the most advantage of this platform. That's my opinion. But yeah, but I also think her marriage is going to be messy too, very much like Melody and Martell. I hope it doesn't get that messy, but so the sisters so Jamisha, they made a joke about a wall being put up, and Nicole was like, well, what's that supposed to mean? And they were like, oh, we just joking, and they were just like, and Keisha's sitting over there quiet, sipping on her Prosecco. Nicole is looking at them side eye like, what's the joke? Like, clearly there's some sort of inside joke here that I don't know anything about. And so they went on to explain, well, before you got here, we were talking to Lakeisha about, strengthening our bonds, our family bonds, our sister bonds, our cousin bonds, and how we want her to, and she said we said it was a wall up between the two of y'all. And so Nicole was like, so y'all decided to make a joke out of it? Like, y'all are saying that y'all want us to be to strengthen our bond as sisters and cousins, and y'all want us to be closer, yet you poke fun at something that's clearly serious? Baby, Nicole was not here for it. And they were like, what's the big deal? And they did apologize, right? I will say Jamisha did apologize. But baby, Nicole was like, you apologize, but you still laughing. Like, you still making jokes. Like, I feel like you don't mean what you're saying. She was like, yeah, so I want to tell you that you hurt my feelings, because I feel like this is something serious. This is something that we need to address, but you guys are making a joke of it. So you have hurt my feelings, and I'm going home. Baby, she picked up her purse and she left. Now, Jamisha was like, I ain't about to chase after her. Now, Jaquita did get up and chase Nicole. Nicole was like, I'm gone. Take this mic off of me and I'm gone. But I'm going to say this. I understand where Nicole was coming from, but I do feel like maybe she overreacted in the moment, but I feel like her overreaction comes from the fact that she acknowledges that there is an invisible wall between her and Nicole. I mean, her and Lakeisha, right? Do I feel like she needed to leave in that moment? No, I feel like that would have been a good opportunity to address it, but I could definitely understand her irritation. When you're trying to be serious and everybody around you is giggling and being silly, I definitely can understand that would irritate the hell out of me too. I ain't gonna lie to you. But what I probably would have done is said, Keisha, can we talk? Like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Can me and you have a conversation? And I might have taken Keisha into the other room to start the process, because it ain't no way you're going to resolve 30 years of a situation in one conversation. But I definitely would have started the process in that moment. And then I probably would have left. But leaving like that without acknowledging what Nicole said, because you were so busy being mad at your sisters and cousin for giggling about it, you said your feelings were hurt, but you didn't validate Lakeisha either in that moment. And by you leaving and sort of leaving Keisha hanging, if I were Lakeisha, I would have felt worse. Because it's like, well, I did open up and I was open to a conversation, and she was over here fighting and fussing, and she didn't even acknowledge what I said. You know, I mean, she acknowledged that, yes, there's a wall here, but she didn't acknowledge what they need to do to try to resolve it. But again, I understand her irritation, because I probably would have been irritated as hell too. When you're trying to be serious and somebody is just giggling and giggling and giggling, I would be pissed off too. So anyway, you guys, that was the episode. I'm not going to drag the review out, because I'm going to bring y'all, we're going to do 2 more reviews before I go to bed tonight, okay? We're going to be back at 8 o'clock to do the Real Housewives of Dubai, and we're going to be back at 10 o'clock to do Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I could get those 3 things in before I leave. And I wanted to do them. Let me say this. No, we're going to go ahead and do Dubai. I was getting ready to say, maybe I'll just do Dubai as an upload, but we'll go ahead and do Dubai. I'm getting ready to watch Power, so I can try to get Power, but that'll be an upload. Y'all know I never do Power live. That'll be an upload. And if I'm feeling real froggy, I'll do the last episode of the latest episode of House on Fire. But that'll be an upload too. I already watched House on Fire, so it's a matter of just doing the review and uploading it. But I'm packed. I just got finished cleaning my kitchen. I'm about to do my purse, my carry-on, my bag that I'm taking with me, my purse. So I'm about to clean that out and then make sure everything is in there that needs to be in there. I've been charging everything, so I got all of that I need to put in there. So it's just going to depend on my time. I'm pretty much done doing what I need to do, though. So, yeah. Checked in my flight. So, yeah. Child, I done checked in my flight. Why they done already changed the gate? I said, Lord. They done already changed the gate, child. But anyway, so I will see you guys in an hour, 15 minutes. Talk to y'all later. Peace.